Before the Vikings, England was a patchwork of rival kingdoms. Wessex, Mercia, Northumbria, and East Anglia, each with its own ruler and ambitions. There was no sense of a unified English identity. Loyalties were local, and kingdoms often fought each other. This division left the land vulnerable with no central army or government to defend against large-scale threats. Viking raids had plagued the coasts for decades, but these were quick, brutal attacks for loot, not conquest. The Anglo-Saxons rebuilt after each raid, never suspecting the threat would soon change. By the mid-9th century, Mercia was in decline, Northumbria torn by civil war, and East Anglia exposed. Only Wessex showed some stability, but it was just one kingdom among many. The stage was set for a new kind of Viking invasion, one that would seek not just plunder, but domination. The Anglo-Saxon kings, distracted by their own rivalries, failed to see the storm gathering across the North Sea. Soon, a force unlike any before would arrive, intent on conquering, not just raiding. The old world of petty kings was about to be shattered. The Vikings were coming, and nothing would ever be the same. England's fate hung in the balance. In 865, a massive Viking army landed in East Anglia, the Great Heathen Army, led by Ivar the Boneless and Halfdan Ragnarsson. This was no raid, it was a full-scale invasion, with thousands of warriors seeking to carve out a new kingdom. The Vikings quickly struck deals for horses, gaining mobility to strike deep inland, their first target Northumbria, weakened by civil war. York fell swiftly and the Vikings installed their own ruler. Terror spread as the Vikings turned south, capturing Nottingham in Mercia. Even a combined Mercian and West Saxon force couldn't dislodge them. The Vikings then returned to East Anglia, demanding tribute. King Edmund refused and was killed, his kingdom absorbed. In just 4 years, 2 of the 4 great Anglo-Saxon kingdoms had fallen. The Vikings had redrawn the map of England, only Mercia and Wessex remained, and both were in the Vikings' sights. The old order was collapsing. The struggle for England had truly begun. With Northumbria and East Anglia gone, the Vikings turned to Wessex, the last Anglo-Saxon stronghold. In 870, young King Alfred faced a relentless enemy. He was not just a scholar, but a shrewd strategist. Alfred's early reign was a desperate fight for survival. He won at Ashdown but suffered heavy losses and was forced to pay the Vikings to buy time. In 878, the Vikings struck again, driving Alfred into hiding in the marshes of Somerset. From exile, Alfred waged guerrilla war, rallying his people for a final stand. At Edington, Alfred's army broke the Viking shield wall, forcing Guthrum to surrender. This victory saved Wessex and marked a turning point. Alfred's resilience ensured the survival of Anglo-Saxon England. The dream of a united kingdom was no longer impossible. The tide had turned. England's future would be shaped by what happened next. Alfred's victory at Edington did more than save Wessex, it changed the course of history. Guthrum, the Viking leader, was baptized and a new border was drawn, the Danelaw, where Viking law ruled. For the first time, Anglo-Saxons saw themselves as one people united against a common enemy. Alfred fostered this new identity, calling himself King of the Anglo-Saxons. He reformed the army, built fortified towns called boors, and created a standing defense force. Alfred also built a navy to counter Viking raids and promoted education, translating key texts into English. These reforms strengthened the kingdom and laid the groundwork for a nation. The struggle against the Vikings forged a shared English identity. Alfred was not just defending a kingdom, he was building a nation. The seeds of England were sown in the fires of war. The idea of Englishness was born. The transformation had begun. The Vikings never meant to unite England, but their invasions destroyed the old kingdoms and forced the Anglo-Saxons to unite. Alfred's children, Edward the Elder and Aethelflaed, pushed back the Danelaw, building fortresses and reclaiming lost lands. Town by town, the House of Wessex extended its rule, bringing more people under a single crown. The final step came with Alfred's grandson, Athelstan. In 927, Athelstan captured York, uniting all Anglo-Saxon lands under one king. He became the first to be called King of the English. The nation of England was born. The legacy of this era endures. Norse place names, shires, and a centralized government. The Vikings came as conquerors, but in resisting them, the English forged a new identity. Out of chaos, a nation emerged. England, united at last, owed its birth to both war and resilience.